Auzubillah Minash-Shaytanir-Rajim. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Today is the 29th of the July, and I have a topic which is very conferred with a lot of issues in the Pakistan. While I was trying to observe the issues that which sort of the elements in the central limitation groups of the Pakistani throughout the applied SROs, when I just confine myself in the public sector, that when just it apparent on the face of the record that the central observation of the central declined areas, I was shocked to observe the premature ages and premature tender mounted cycles of the Republicans, that the concept of the basic issues in the Pakistan and the over reproduction issues through having no proper reconciled issues. Today I was in the question that if uh, the reproduction issues, after not observing the transparent observation of the same, in fact, what comes the next is a question. Today, the question which is subjected with the rights of the females in the Pakistan is an obscure scene in the public sector as well. And the secondary issue, when I frame those lines by myself via the Article 184 of the Constitution of the Pakistan, I was in the positions whole night. I was observing these issues that it is very difficult for the female to maintain the house for the same. And there is a secondary group. When I just observe the two groups in the central divisional benches of the Lahore, that a primary group which is intellectually disturbed mentally, and they are into the habit of having the ultimate sort of the injections. And I was surprised to observe the females which have been married with the same in the object lines of the civil defection clauses, and after production of the a lot of children, what about the destination of such females? I'm very worried about under the humanitarian observation of the same in the kind affirmative facts. Today, when you just observe that the males and the females, when the group of the same get married, the utmost question which just come out after the married transitional area is that the male or the female is in the abstract line of the not only addiction injection culture. And when I observe within the whole of the Lahore High Court outer spaces during the years 2016, 2017 and 2018, I was basically surprised to observe that the 12-year children, the 16 years children are into the habit of having the injection into their bodies in order to originate the capitals for the remainder preposition of their families. And when I just verified those transitional area, I was basically totally out of my brain that if the females abandoned without having the proper males in the Lahore divisions, then the said Lahore division is trying to convince the acquittal rate of the same that it is very bad activity in the principal criminal misappropriation of the assets. I observe these factors. That first of all, you just observe a male, that such male is in the multiple transitional areas of your female of your choice, and after that such male is found as to having ultimate channels of the drugs into the body as to raising of the sexual intercourses, and after performing those activities the same and the said male is not in the position to observe the economic principal activity of the other reciprocating area as well. So this is unsettled principle in Pakistan, which is I'm observing. Yes, I'm observing with very futile and die hard, but what to say when it is being confined in the public sector, that the public is about to rotate no valuable questions to the females in the principal area of living. And I'm totally out of my senses when I observed that the females were out of their houses just to originate the capitals. Though I was the person just observed that the females are trying to convince the remainder proportion of the same in the facts that those females are in the public revenge of the sexual depression offense, and after that the aggressive depression in the intellectual inclined modules of the males in the Pakistan is a secondary question which is not being abstracted by any Pakistani. And when a prudent Pakistani is trying to convince the conviction of the said person, and after that the reciprocate area of the female reproduction error in the Pakistan is a question which is not being under the comprehension of the compression of the ultimate intellectual understandings of the intangible rights of the females after just surrogate the issues of the same. I was totally whole night rotating in my room as to observe the conditional barriers of the same, and thereby when I just observe these questions by myself as to observe the unconditional barrier of the females in the Pakistan, the secondary question which just rotate in my court of judicial justice as per the refreshment of the public revocation order under the panel of their civil declined, you can say, economic principle to non-transparent area of living in the whole rotation of such still in the circulation of the non-surety bonds of the females rights. Yes, the concept of the same is not in the position. The females overproduction abandoned of the same after abandoning deferred inclined position in the observation of the 360 degrees. And when I just observe that after a reproduction in the Pakistan, the females are not treated in the right position. It is a very mandatory question of the law under the Article 184 of the Constitution today as a matter of the precedent in custom to settle away. Thereby, when I just observe these all areas of the females skyrocketed issues in the Lahore division, I was shocked to observe that the males are not trying to have the preposition of the right depiction of the truth in the economy as well. So there is a series of the issues. Beside all of these issues, I just observed that when the females are out of the questions and the males are not trying to are willing to have the property issues of the same, and there is a Kabza association in the Lahore division, especially when I just observe small medium females, their properties are hijacked, and most often of the times when you just try to comprehend the same person is in the sexual addiction with the females. And there is a secondary crime which I just observe in the Sadpur divisions, small divisions, that those females are trying to save the modesty but the males become zombies. You can observe that fact. Today you can observe that the male is apparently a zombie. You cannot save yourself from a zombie. So these issues are in the questions which are not in the observation of the Pakistanis. The 95% males under the Pakistani non-practical sanction of the same is in the abstract line of the decline refreshment of their intellectual understanding as well. I just observed that reverse psychology caused negative effects of the Republicans by myself over my sleeve. So these were the baseline issues in the Pakistan, the reproduction errors. But after curing the reproduction error, the economic activities deferred transitional area. After recovery of those issues, the known compilations of the Dovri articles. After compiling of the Dovri articles, the known capacitated observation of the rights of the same subjected lines of the females in the Article 199 portraying in the Lahore High Court today as a matter of the precedent in custom through the guardian ad litem cases as well. I was basically observing all these issues through by myself over my collar that the Republicans are in the habit of the cross testifying the females over and over and over and over, and after those females are not in the position to be cross testified by herself or themselves, the same males are trying to convince the same that there is a poverty line and the price hike in the public sector. Thereby, I was shocked to primarily observe these rotation of the females negligence over rotation in the Pakistan, that those females are subjected with the heinous principal criminals in the public sectors, while not in the question of the baseline of the transitional sort of the principal economy. and those males are trying to convince the conviction come acquittal rate of the economy betrayal to their family under subordinate issues. So when I just observe all these collateral minus degrees by myself as to just rotating myself into the dictations of the constitutional mandate, the question is very apparent on the face of record itself that the females under the minority in Pakistan are abstracted under the minus dilute principal criminal males, and this is a fact in the controversial mediums of the article 199 today in the Lahore High Court as a matter of the precedent in practical nexus under the sanction of economy thereof. When I just narrate the affirmative judgments by myself without reading any statute, it means that I was in the practical sanctions of the public sector in order to observe the reformed sort of the depiction of the same, that if the negative nexus of the reproduction of the females would be applied to the females, the question would become at automated, not self-generated thought as well, that those females were not abstracted through the same blood deferred transitional area as well. The question which I rotate by myself, that the addiction is racing, and the public is trying to convince that the self-motivated addictions are into the up channels of the females because of the low generated self schemes of the same subjected lines. I was basically whole night just rotation in the article 199 as to comparing myself that they have generated a lot of females, but those females are not in the position to capacitate economically while just originating the same in the science of the observation order. And the males in the Pakistan not mal groomed, disadvantaged, economically distracted, and their parental ancestrals negated in the cost narrative facts of the same females as well in every subordinate civil code as well. The Pakistani females are transparent, deferred by the derogatory remarks of their cross siblings in every court of the section, and then I was the main person who was observing the transgending rights of the females, the observation of the males, while the females, the subjective lines of the cross verified nikahnamas in the observation of the obsolete matters. And after all of these transactions, what they just want from the female is a question that to portray to be the best side of the public, in fact. So, stay blessed. Advocate Gulraiz King.